Hi, my name is Leah Sater. I'm the founder and executive director here at Stepping Stone Farms School of Horsemanship, a horse rescue and sanctuary located in southeast Wisconsin. And this is my buddy Scout. And we're here to talk about understanding horse rescue, what it is, what it's not, and how you can help. I'd like to thank the Great Lakes Pet Expo and Aware for giving us this opportunity to talk about horses and horse rescue. Most people don't think of horses as pets, but many horse owners, just like cats and dogs, their horses or horse becomes a member of their family. And while we would like to think that horses would never fall on hard times, many people either get in over their heads or have their own circumstances change and find that they are no longer able to care for their equine friend. So you just heard me use the word equine, and I'm going to be using that quite often. It's just another word for horse. The way canine's a word for dog and feline is a word for cats, equine is just another word for horse. So you'll hear me use that. And just like sometimes people intentionally harm pets, sometimes people intentionally harm horses. But more often than not, what happens is that people get in over their heads with horses and they don't know who to turn to. They don't know who to ask for help. Sometimes they don't even know that help's available. Sometimes people are too proud to ask for help. And I think it's important for folks to know that there are many, many rescues both in Wisconsin and throughout the entire United States. And we're more than happy to help before a horse gets into a bad situation. So please ask for help. If you think you see a horse in trouble, if you're comfortable, try talking to the owner. And if not, then you can reach out to animal control. The biggest thing I want to stress, though, is that there aren't a lot of people that are intentionally harming a horse or not feeding a horse enough. Sometimes it's simply a case of someone not knowing any better or not realizing that perhaps they're doing it wrong or that there might be another way to do it. Please don't make that assumption that someone is purposefully being mean to a horse. Case in point, I was driving with a friend of mine to La Crosse, and we passed a field full of horses, kind of like this, except it was spring and they didn't have blankets on. And as we drove by, my friend said to me, "Wow, that one horse was really skinny." And I said, "Just one horse, or were they all skinny?" And she thought about it, and she said, "No, it was just the one." And I said, "Well, maybe that horse is young, maybe that horse is old, or maybe they even just rescued that horse." So sometimes when you see that, if you just see one skinny horse, there might be a lot going on there. There's something called the Henneke Body Conditioning Score. And it tells you if a horse is too thin or if a horse is too obese. You don't want either one of those, you want it somewhere in the middle. But if there were a whole field of horses that were thin, that would be bad. That would be cause for concern and maybe doing something. But a horse could be old, they could have a metabolic issue, they could have bad teeth, there could be lots of factors going on. A horse that's very young often will look beautiful, and then suddenly it'll shoot up and look rangy and ribby and like, oh my God, what are they doing? And sometimes maybe that person just rescued that horse and they're working really hard to get weight on. Again, don't judge until you know all the facts. So Nina is the black horse you see without the blanket on. And her story is a little different, but was just as dangerous. She came to us 300 pounds overweight. And that can lead to a condition called founder. And when that happens, it's a foot disease. It would have happened that we would have had to put her down. So as it turns out, Nina is now one of our best lesson horses after we got the 300 pounds off of her. If you think you're gonna get a horse, buy a horse, or adopt a horse, you should take a qualified professional with you, someone with experience, preferably a trainer that you've been working with. Before you think about getting a horse, you should really take lessons and find someone that you enjoy working with. Getting the horse is just the beginning. You're going to need help even after you get that horse. You should always take lessons and always, always continue to learn. So these are two of our horses, and both of them are what would be considered aged equines. Interestingly, I think if you're going to get a horse, and it's your first horse and you don't really have much for experience, I've said, please consider getting an older horse. We always say you should get the horse you need now, not the horse that you want for the future. And older horses, a lot of people discount them, and yet they are so valuable. You can learn so much from them. And you can also learn a lot by standing and watching horses and what their behavior is. And I encourage it in all of our volunteers. Learn what horse behavior looks like, what normal horse behavior looks like. Learn what's normal for them. A lot of people think that horses are just big dogs, but they're really not. There's a huge difference between herd behavior and pack behavior. Horses aren't big dogs. A lot of times, they will run away from anything that they think could possibly bother them. It could be a plastic bag. That's big in the horse world. Horses don't like plastic bags. They will run away, but they will, given enough space, circle around and come back to see if it was really something that they needed to be afraid of. They're not like a dog. They're not going to lash out unless they feel cornered in some way. Everyone always talks about getting kicked or getting bitten. Really, horses won't do that. Given a chance, they just want to get away from whatever it is that's bothering them. Stepping Stone Farms believes that every life has worth and meaning. To that end, we rescue horses that are otherwise unwanted and give them the job of helping people see that even though their life might be banged up a little, it still can be meaningful, worthwhile, and full of love. If you think a horse is in trouble, don't look the other way. Take photos, show them to a vet or to an experienced equestrian. There are things you can do to help these beautiful animals and to educate their owners who might not know what to do. You can always get in touch with us here at steppingstonefarms.org, and we will do anything in our power that we can to help.